Legend of Total War here, and today's video is a guide on how to maximize the Tomb King economy, also known as how to cheese their economy, because anything that's effective is also considered cheese. Although, to be fair, this is definitely not an intended way to make cash as the Tomb Kings, so yeah, it is pretty much cheese. So don't feel like you have to do this. This is just for those people who come onto the live streams and ask, how do I make more money as the Tomb Kings? Because it happens all the time. Because the thing is with the Tomb Kings is that they are a low economy faction. Despite the fact that they don't pay any recruit costs or upkeep costs for their lords, heroes, and units, the Tomb Kings don't have enough money through their taxes, through trade, through looting, to develop their provinces at the rate at which you can grow. So a lot of the times, a lot of your provinces will just remain bare or just have really basic buildings despite being tier 4 or 5 just because it takes so long to actually generate cash as the Tomb Kings. But that's kind of how they're supposed to work, in that they generate low cash, but you kind of, anytime that you get cash, there's no expenses, so you just put it into your buildings and then you never lose it. But this process here will just help you speed that process up a lot so you can get more buildings constructed faster. That's the primary use of this. Alright, so let's go on to the steps on how to do this, because it's not a difficult process to do. It's not as simple as, say, the high off economy cheese, but you got to follow it step by step as closely as possible, at least to begin with. Now, this can be done with any of the Tomb King legendary lords, but Settra and Ketep are probably going to have the easiest time doing it, and Khalida will have the most difficult time doing it, because Khalida has the least number of heroes, and Settra has the most number of growth, which really comes into play here. And Ketep, I think, has the highest number of heroes. And then Arkan somewhere in between in terms of difficulty doing this. So the first thing you want to do is, well, after you've secured your initial home territory, so around, say, turn 20, turn 30, you want to be bringing your army down over to here, or just to any mountainous region, right? So in this particular campaign, probably the best one is Karak-Orad. So this is the Vortex campaign here. So you bring it over to Karak-Orad, which is owned by the Arachnos Orcs, and you attach as many heroes to your army as possible and start sacking the city over and over and over again over the turns. Okay, you don't want to occupy it. The purpose of this is to level up your characters, because every time your characters level up in a mountainous region, that's very important. It doesn't work in any other region type. You have a chance of obtaining a hero called the Charnel Valley Necrotect. This is the most important thing for this cheese to work, right? So this follower here, the Charnel Valley Necrotect, reduces construction costs by 15% for infrastructure buildings in the local province, right? You get enough of those followers, and then you bring just bring enough heroes into a province, you can reduce the construction costs of buildings down to 0 in this particular category here, the infrastructure buildings. So I'm not talking about any of the other ones here. Doesn't really work with them. It only works primarily with the infrastructure buildings, right? And then you can build them for free. Now, the next thing that you want to do is get one of your provinces, or all of your provinces. You need at least one province to tier 4, because these are the buildings here that you want to build. And again, they're free. So you build them for free, and then once they finish constructing, you demolish them. And what ends up happening is the game will forget how much you paid for constructing it, and only provide back 60% of the base cost. So in this province here where I've already built it, if I demolish this building, I'll get 4,500 back, despite the fact I paid nothing for that building. Now this province here, despite being tier 5, is making 237 gold, right? But I'm able to demolish this every few turns for, let's see, 4,500 plus 3,600, 8,100 every few turns. Now, there's a few other things that we can do to make this even more efficient, okay? In your tech tree, you go into and find Thutep of the 3rd Dynasty. This dude here reduces construction time by 35% for all buildings. So, for example, we look at Khemri over here. If I wanted to build this building, assuming it was free, it would take 4 turns. But that's the dude over here. Because over here, I've already got him here, he's reduced it by a turn. By reducing it by a turn, you can complete the process faster, right? In addition to that, if you do the Great Incantation of Geheb, you can reduce the construction cost down by an additional 25%, bringing it down to 2 turns. Now, you can also do it with the minor settlement buildings as well, but you're not going to make anywhere near as much as these ones. But if you've got free build slots, might as well do it, because you'll still make a bit of extra cash. And the process can be completed faster with those ones. So you can still do this at like tier 1, but you'll only really start seeing a lot of money come through from doing it once you hit tier 4. It doesn't, like, tier 5 is not going to make any difference, because these ones here happen at tier 4. Alright, then the next thing you want to do is try to find the biggest intersection you can. So in this case here, the intersection here connects to 3 provinces. So we've got the Southern Badlands, Ash River, and the Land of the Dead, all within like a tiny amount of movement from each other. So what that allows us to do is we build the buildings in one province there, and then we move over to the next one, and on the very same turn, build it for free, and then you move into the next one, and build it for free. And then you wait between 3 and 5 turns, or however long it takes to build it, and then you demolish it. So in this particular case here, it takes 2 turns to build, and then 1 turn to demolish. So the process takes 3 turns. But on average, you're probably going to be doing it every 4 turns, because this edict doesn't last forever. So let's just assume it's 4 turns. So every 4 turns, I'm making 8,100 from each of these provinces. That's a hell of a lot of money that even Khemri itself makes. And Khemri makes a ton of cash. That's one of the richest Tomb King provinces in the game. And I can make more money by dismantling buildings than I can from actual taxes. Now, another thing is that once those things are constructing, if you could move them over to other provinces, you know, we could maybe do it over the Black Pyramid of Nagash, or move it over to the Great Desert, and do the same thing as well, because no matter where I demolish it, it's still going to yield the same amount of money, right? Another thing that you can do is that you only need like a few heroes in order to make this work. Oh, and there's also the what's it called? Commandment. Now, this commandment normally reduces construction costs by 10%, but if you've got the 8th book of Nagash, which is, its placement is random, the effectiveness of all commandments is increased by 50%. But in the case of this one here, it actually doubles the amount that it reduces the construction cost by. So you only need 80% worth of reduced construction cost, and then you pop that down, gets it to 100%. And then sometimes you'll have events that'll drop it down even further as well. But then what you can do, because these heroes here don't cost anything, you could just disband a hero in one location. Oh, hang on. Before you do that, make sure you take off the followers, or else you will lose the followers. Very important. Okay. Disband the follower, the hero in one area, and let's just say I wanted to pop it down over here. We just re-recruit the dude, or it's actually a different one, but re-recruit him over here, and put those exact same followers back on him, and next turn, he's ready to go. So we dismantle that, and we'll be ready to build it. You know, if you were to disband all of those heroes, that is, and then re-recruit them over here, you could do it to a whole other set of them. So you could be even more efficient. But, you know, the thing is, at that point there, you're being super anal about it. But that's a way to make a ton of cash as the Tomb Kings in the very early stages of the campaign. You know, when you're making less than 1,000 gold per turn, or, you know, 1,000 to 2,000 gold if you're playing etc., and you're doing this, you'll find that you're making like 3 or 4 times as much cash doing this than you would be by taxing your provinces. But the big downside of this economy cheese is that the later on you get into the campaign, and the more territories you have, you're going to start to get a diminishing return off this. It's just not going to seem like you're going to get as much, and you're going to want to actually finish developing your provinces and keep these effects actually going long term. So I would say that this economy cheese is effective between turn 30 and turn 140. After turn 140, I probably wouldn't bother doing this anymore. Unless the campaign's in a complete catastrophe and you need cash right away, I'd probably want to move these guys to actually go and fight our enemies and expand, not bothering doing this anymore. But anyway, that's the economy cheese. I hope that's explained well enough for you. I tried to be as thorough as possible so that there really could be no margin for error and no confusion on how this works. Just a really, really quick summary, just in case you missed it. Okay? Sack mountainous regions, get Charnel Valley Necrotect, build things for free, demolish it for profit. That's how you do it. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video, hope it helps you out, And I'll see you next time, fuckers. Don't forget to leave a sub if you're enjoying the content and this stuff's helping you, because it helps out the channel a lot. Anyway, see you next time, fuckers. Appreciate you.